It was a, Charlotte Hornets, man. Nothing, no LaMelo Ball, no nothing. But, nice to see Jalen Brunson and the crew go out there and get some effort. How you feeling, Combo? What'd you think about this game tonight?
It was interesting. You know what was really interesting, actually? That Jalen Brunson was playing some late minutes. I was surprised when he got
Oh, you were
subbed back.
surprised about that too, right? I mean, this guy. It seems like Brunson wanted to get ready, bro. He missed last game. It seems like he wanted to get out here and get ready for game one. There's a chip on his shoulder. You kind of feel it. I don't know if that's just me though. What are you thinking?
I thought he looked great, by the way. The shot making, the passing, that around the back pass was tough. Him playing late, him wanting to play. Mike Brown putting him in late. Yeah, I liked everything I saw from him. It was a good effort. It was actually a good game, which was nice too. It's not like, they blew the Hornets out. So even with LaMelo and Brandon Miller out. So yeah, I thought it was a good night of basketball.
Absolutely a great night of basketball, man. And look, even with Brandon Miller out, LaMelo out, as you noted, what I liked, unlike the last game, and some people were getting on me, man. All right, some people were like, "Oh, it's just a preseason game. Why do you want to see effort?" I want to see effort, man, because look, this team's got a lot to play for. All right, there's not a lot of time to just like waste with this roster. Okay, this is the prime opportunity. Come correct, take care of business, and that's what it looked like tonight. All right, and I mean, we could start off with Jalen Brunson, the captain, Captain Clutch, as CP always calls him. All right, great moniker. Dude went 12 for 25 tonight, got his 31 points, 5 of 12 from three, 2 or 3 from the free throw line, played 34 minutes, got 7 boards, 6 assists, 1 steal. Had the 6 turnovers, all right, well, was a little careless, but it's preseason, trying some new things out. Not too worried about that, but that guy looks ready, man. He looks poised for the regular season.
He does look ready. I feel like we didn't see a lot of off-ball Brunson, though. That's what we've been seeing a little bit more of in the other games. Not as much of off-ball Brunson. And when he was off-ball, he kind of just stood still. He just stood there. So I didn't see the new actions that we're supposed to be seeing, though. So that's like the interesting part in all of this.
I think when you have guys like, especially with the starting lineup that they had, right? Even when you put McBride out there, this is not that same potent starting lineup, where you have a lot of offensive weapons. It was him, Bridges, and we know Clarkson is a guy that will have the ultimate green light with the bench, but with the starters, changed it up, right? Like he's not going to be a guy that is going to surpass Bridges and Brunson in the pecking order when it comes to, all right, who's going to score now, who we're going to lean on. So I was not expecting a lot of Brunson off ball. When they did try it, I was like, okay, some catch and shoot here and there, trying to find him backdoor cutting and all that good stuff. And I think that's good practice for what you want to see. But I still am not. I think it's going to be a time, man. I think it's going to be it's going to take some time. It's going to take the 25, 40 game mark, in my opinion, to really see. Showing some eyes, you're a little concerned with that. You're a little concerned.
I don't think Knicks fans want to wait 40 games. I'll tell you that.
Look, man. I know it's not what you want to hear, but look, when you're implementing a new system with a bunch of players for the first time, I'm not expecting a lot of things to necessarily like click as quickly, especially when you want to add layers. As you know, man, when you're trying to add layers to the playbook, you got to get the core foundation first before you start adding a lot more, right? And granted, these guys that we have on this roster have high IQ, but I'm still expecting, like, I mean, being idealistic is like saying 25 games, right? I think anyone throughout the league is like, oh, it's going to take 25 games for everyone to get into rhythm. You think less? You tell me.
I hope less, because if it takes them 25, 40 games, Knicks fans are going to be on it. You know it. If we see some like Brunson off the ball, he's acting like he's a little bit bad body language. I know that's not his style. I know he's a great player and a great winner and wants to win, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting how much his usage actually goes down. That's what I'm interested in.
Hey, man, I'm very much interested in that. And holy cow, I'm looking at the Discord right now. I lined some people up. We got a lot of callers in. Stay locked in, people. Stay locked in. I'm going to get to your calls. If you want to call in tonight, get your takes off. Make sure to go in through the Discord. All right, I see a lot of you. We got 400 people watching right now, and we're still growing. Salute to Knicks Nation for tapping in. We're just going to break things down first before we get to all your calls. All right, so look, man, I get you. I get you at the time. We'll if you want to dive deep into that, man, I want to hear what people have to think about that too. We'll dive deep into it. But another guy that looked good tonight too was Mikal Bridges. I thought the aggressiveness. I thought we're seeing him being more comfortable, especially when it comes to attacking the basket, something that, it seems like he was allergic to last year. He just seems more free flowing in this offense and what the Knicks are trying to do. And I know they haven't really implemented a lot of plays yet to play in like in these preseason games, but when I'm watching him out there, it just seems like it's a different player from what I saw last year. It might be because the coach is empowering him more. Mike Brown's probably doing that a little bit more. I mean, you had the quote the other day. Give me a second to pull it up. And to me, it just spoke volumes on what the temperature was between him and Tibbs. Not saying I got the full picture of like that relationship, and I'm not going to assume more than that, but shout out to our guys Ian Begley, James Edward III, aka Trilogy, and Bondi. You had they were on SNY with Ian on the Putback Show, and what was it? The tweet was Mike Brown has been loud at times in correcting mistakes of the Knicks' top players as they practice and prepare for regular season. Mikal Bridges on Brown's vocal nature. That's what we need. He does it in a respectful way, and I could say we can watch the video and you can hear like the tone and how it was put in, but just reading that, and listening to what Ian had to say about that, to me, to say it's done, like you don't just say that for the sake of saying that. Like there's like there's a layer to that. You know what I mean?
Who had the respectful quote? Mikal?
Mikal said, yeah, Mikal Bridges said,
"Wow, that's pretty much shade, to be honest." Towards Tibbs.
Right,
100%.
Yeah, I think it's shade. I mean, you don't got to read too much into it. It's like, look, and you saw like when it came to the report saying, "Hey, why don't we let other guys get more minutes?" Like, and not we don't have to play 36 minutes, and not like we all know he's stood up and spoke out against Tibbs last season. In that regard, Tibbs denied that, so you could sense there was a little bit of tension there. But I think with that quote directly, it says that I think there's a little different level of respect and comfort with Mike Brown versus Tom Thibodeau, and just to add into like what we're seeing on the court and how he's playing.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing great. You could tell he's been in the gym. He's always been a guy who's been in the gym, but I think he's playing so well that I wouldn't even look at him like an X factor. Like, I think he really is going to be great this season, and I think he'll make the All-Star game actually this year.
Wow, you think he's going to make the All-Star game this season? What gives you that? What gives you that confidence?
Well, the way he looks in the preseason, and then I feel like we're going to see more of that Mikal that we saw when Jalen Brunson was out. I think they're going to figure things out with Mikal more this season, and he's going to be a lot more comfortable. And there was obviously some issues with him and Tibbs. And then also, if he could play like he played with the Brooklyn Nets on this Knicks team, on a winning team that's going to be number one in the East, I think he will make the NBA All-Star game this season.
Do you think like I don't disagree with you, because like from what I'm seeing during the preseason, and even being out in summer league, and I just saw like constantly next to Mike Brown, and just constantly like the communication is there. I'm sure they're spitballing ideas. He's talking to Mike Brown and saying, "Hey, this is my capabilities. This is my skill set. This is what I can do." And I'm also sure that when Leon Rose was looking for a next head coach and saying that we're looking for somebody who can be more of like a communicator, work with multiple people at different levels of the organization, from players to the front office, the medical staff. When I see that from Mike Brown, it's like, they're trying to make sure that everyone gets utilized in a manner that they had envisioned, right? And I think part of that is saying what we saw Bridges do out in Brooklyn, saying, "Hey, we can add that. We can add a guy who was an initiator out there." Not saying he's going to surpass Brunson or supplant him as the lead guy, but to relieve Brunson, right? You want to create easier shots and give guys opportunity. We want to give guys opportunity just to, showcase themselves and just make the game easier. And I felt like we didn't do that with him last year, because how he was utilized last year was like, yo, why are we treating him like he's Phoenix Suns Mikal Bridges when we literally gave all this draft capital because he showed he could be more than that out in Brooklyn. Yeah. Carlo from the Philippines. What's happening, man? How you doing?
Hey, kamusta kayo guys? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you loud and clear. This is your
Sir.
show. Take the
Ah,
floor, good man.
I'll get right through it. I'm giving a brief review of this Finnish preseason and maybe what to expect along the season. Number one, coaching. They are more sound defensively, and I'm intrigued particularly on how Coach Brown can fix Cat's foul troubles. And during the Abu Dhabi games, he was better defensively. Even the captain, Jalen Brunson is grabbing long rebounds in this Hornets game, and I'm worried he might tweak an ankle or something. And obviously, Mikal, Mitch, and OG are going to thrive in this system. We are finally going to experience what load management feels like, and we can now see our stars resting and young guys playing. I like how Coach Brown experiments on different lineup changes, and I'm not throwing shade at Coach Thibs, but we will see a lot of adjustments on the lineup as the game progresses. And that will keep the opponents guessing. And long gone are the template coaching. We are just we just
Carl, it
changed
sounds like you're
where
happy
we
that a
just
certain coach is gone at this point, man.
Uh, no, we just change lineups every 5 minutes, like what Coach Tibbs always does. But we can now finally see a much more happier and a well-rested Mikal Bridges on post-game interviews because he's not tired anymore. uh, our guys our young guys are showing a lot of promise, and I like the kid 30 Jameson. I call him
Mhm.
30 because he's the third, and this is what Clyde is preaching about. Play defense with your feet and not with your hands. And he's a good example of that. He reminds me a lot of Tyrone Hill. Remember Tyrone Hill?
Mhm.
Not the All-Star version, but the Golden State version of Tyrone Hill. Hakporti is a sure shot. So far, I think I've seen two successful Gortat screens since the Abu Dhabi games. In regards to the Kolek and Pacom conundrum, and this is also related to the retirement of Brogdon, I'm not gonna make some conclusions after this preseason, but I will do it anyways because we're Knicks fans and that's what we do. But from the start, I always lean on keeping Kolek rather than Pacom. Maybe because I relate and I root
Mm.
for the little guy, but this might be a worst take or maybe a hot take from me, but Pacom Daddy is giving me the Jericho Sims vibe, and I'm
Mm.
not questioning his skills.
Wait,
I understand that he's just a kid, and I get that we all have different personalities, but his timid and shy personality just reminds me of guys like Nilikina, Knox, Jericho,
Mm.
guys that keep their heads down, and it gets in the way. He sometimes look nervous out there, as compared to his peers like Kolek and Hawk, where they show fluidity, emotion, quick decisions, and things like that. And lastly, I want to clear something up about Jordan Clarkson. Just because he's my fellow countryman and my cousin, well, we are all cousins here. I did not follow him. I don't follow him when he was in his previous teams. I'm not into personal accolades because I'm a Knicks fan. I'm not a leader nor part of the Carjack Clarkson hive.
Sure.
So you will hear unbiased critic from me where uh, we are going so we have to get used to what Clarkson is. There was this one play in the quarter where he could have passed a wide open Yabu for the three. Have you seen that?
Yep.
But instead he chucks a well contested shot. And this is a question or also a challenge for the coaching staff about accountability. We are now in the era of what we call the spray era, and JC doesn't spray, he spits. And that boggles me about JC. He's a good passer. Why don't you pass it, man? Yeah, that's all. But I just have one fun question for you guys before I go.
Sure. What is it?
Uh, and the chat can share this one too. But since the preseason is over, I just want to ask, what's your all-time favorite Knicks preseason moment? And before you answer it, I'm going to tell you mine. I have three of them. It's Charles Oakley slamming Charles Barkley to the ground.
Mm.
Tony Douglas diving for the loose ball in the scores table with no regard for safety on a preseason game. And the Patrick Ewing Jr. game versus the New Jersey Nets.
Okay.
So what's yours, guys?
All right. Appreciate the call, Carlo. Appreciate you for tapping in. What are my three favorite preseason moments? Definitely Mook knocking. I forget the guy's name on the Washington Wizards. Just doing that. That's like, oh, we're sending dude being aggressive. I know it didn't really do that, but to me, it's just like, who does that? Who does that in a preseason game? That's one. Another preseason, I guess. Man, what's another preseason game? We're really deep diving. Carlo, you had time to think about this today, man. You had time to think about this. Now you're just putting us all on the spot.